until it says it. We should be live.
Yeah,
I think
live
so.
in the corner.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another narrator interview. I have two today, which I'm super excited for. We have Maxine Mitchell, and I'm doing it the opposite way, Carly, aka CJ Bloom. Do you have narrating names like under both or just CJ?
So it's going to be a little bit longer, but I feel like everybody has their story of how they came up with a pseudo. When I started in this business and I started getting romance titles, I was told by the engineer, oh, you got to pick another name. Nobody's going to hire you. Like Disney, you do voiceover, you do all of these other things. They're never going to put you in another commercial. And I was like, is that really the way things go these days? I didn't really believe him, but I was like, all right. So I picked one. CJ is my name, Carly. Joelle is my middle name, Joelle. And my last name is Robbins, but my mom's maiden name is Bloom. And no, I do not use it for passwords for that exact reason. So don't think you can hack me, anybody. But so CJ Bloom felt really easy, like I would remember it, that kind of thing. But then I started getting cast in both. And also some of my biggest titles are under Carly Robbins for romance. And I was like, whoops, I guess we're just doing both all the time. I had no plan about it. So many people are so smart about it. They're super secretive. They keep it all in one place. They're like, have a whole like thing about them. And I am not that put together. So I often have to have a really long title on my bottom, Carly Robbins, aka CJ Bloom, because people sometimes know me as others. But the funniest is when they hate you as one, but love you as the other, which is always super fun.
Same voice.
It makes no sense. No sense.
Wow.
Hi, Emily. Hi. Thanks.
Did you guys do something today? Everyone's saying it's a great way to wrap up today.
I didn't
Maybe
do
just like
anything.
the end of the day.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know Jason Clark did like a live earlier today where he was reading stuff, and Rose Dioro and
Dioro.
Samantha Brentmore did their Rose Moore roundtable.
You
So
are up on this.
there's
You
so
are
much
up on
happening
it
today.
So many lives.
Oh,
Everybody's getting in
wow.
on it.
Woo.
And I don't know, there might have been other things too, but those are the ones that I know about.
It's been
So
a good live narrator day.
Okay.
That's what people say. I gotta make my screen bright again. Oh, that's super exciting. Well, then we're wrapping it up, bringing it home.
Yeah.
Bases loaded. I don't know why I came
Unless
up with
there's
some
something else
sports. I don't really know a lot about sports,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I know that.
We do have
okay.
some. Do you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, did I wrap up the question? Because now I can't remember.
Yeah, I asked you about your name. All right. I was gonna say we have some love for Maxine with the Ravenhood series. I know you've done a ton of Kate Stewart.
I have, and we'll be doing more. We're going to be recording Reverse.
Do tell.
So, yeah, in duet with Joe Arden.
Ooh.
Coming up. Yeah.
Okay. I love starting these off asking how you got started. And before we came on, Carly said it was very similar for you two. So I don't know who wants to go first. You can tag team.
I just spoke about my name. Yeah.
I'll go first. I was living in New York and as an actor auditioning and working off Broadway and also bartending because working off Broadway doesn't pay the bills. And I got an audition at Audible Studios. And I went in and I auditioned and they gave me my first book that day. And yeah, I then a couple weeks later, after I had gotten a couple more books, I remember going into my restaurant job and being like, I'm an audiobook narrator now. Bye.
I'm famous now. Bye.
Not famous, but I was like, I have something that pays me real money, and I get to be an actor all the time. It's amazing. So, yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. My restaurant work. I mean, I worked in restaurants for 15 years, so
yeah,
I was ready. I was ready to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
that's
mine then.
basically my
Okay,
story
that was
guide.
wrap it up.
Yeah,
Okay, wrap it up. Okay.
that's it.
I very similarly, I live in New York still. I'm in Brooklyn, and I had been doing the same actor experience, very similar to Maxine. I had, you know, felt like I went to like a conservatory school when I got here. I was pounding the pavement with casting directors, trying to get into voiceovers, trying to do commercials. When the soaps existed, I was doing the soap operas, and that was like a monthly gig on like 2 soap operas. I would get, like a couple of days, but it takes up the entire, it's like 9 hours. You don't make very much money, and you're mostly sitting backstage. But I was like, I'm on a soap, or get like my under fives, which got me like into AFTRA or things like that to get into the unions. For those of you who don't know what AFTRA is, that used to be separate from SAG. It's now SAG-AFTRA, and it's a whole big thing. And yay, thanks for unions that give us healthcare. And I had also been working 5,000 other jobs. One of them was Kaplan, the test prep. You probably spoke to me because we were the national call center. So if you took a test prep course when you were in high school and you called to ask for information, you probably spoke to me. I also worked in restaurant business, but I was a coat check girl, which I loved, but it was a lot of late hours and really good money. And I too had and I'd started like writing and producing some of my own work, which I got really excited about and kind of felt like I was making some headway, but I wasn't making a living. And I just felt like I didn't have any sort of control or guidance over my career. And I happened to be having lunch with like a friend of a friend of a friend. I'm not even really sure why we had lunch because she wasn't really somebody I even speak to now. And she was like, "Oh, I know a guy. You should do audiobooks." And I was like, "What?" And she said, he has more work than he has actors to do it. Oh, he'll totally hire you." And I was like, "Okay." So I'm not sure, Maxine, if you started around the same time, if it was similar, because I think it was.
Yeah, we did.
Way back when, this was probably about 10 years ago, Audible had sort of come on the scene, right, strong, got bought by Amazon. They started Kindle publishing, they started ACX. All these like big things were happening to really sort of push them into another stratosphere in terms of their ability to have content just from indie publishers, from indie authors, not having to deal with publishers. And so it just like was exploding. And they were really pushing content for audio. And so Audible had bought like thousands of back titles. And so they didn't care who they hired, or at least they probably cared they got Maxine, but they didn't care about me. And I had never done anything like that before. I'd done like a handful of voiceovers, and I was starting to do voiceovers, but yeah. I literally sort of fell into it. And so this engineer based out of Queens, his name is Pete Rowan, and he had worked for another company called Talking Books, and then he started Rowan Audio. And so he had this relationship with Audible, and they would give him a dump of like 25 books a month. And they would say, "You do the casting, you do whatever, just give us the final books." And he liked me. I have no idea why. And so I would trek all the way to Queens. He was in
Yes, you're
Jackson
so
Heights.
unlikable. I don't know why he liked you either.
I am. I'm very serious. I am serious, and I get angry. Anyway, and he was in Jackson Heights, which was super fun. They had like Indian grocery stores and all sorts of crazy things. And I was like, I'm in another world. And so I would go there like maybe every other week for a few days and sort of like learned on the job. Meanwhile, starting to audition on ACX, also got invited into Audible to audition for them. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I hit 25 books. Oh my God, I hit 100 books. Oh my God, I'm doing this all the time. I have to be serious about this. I have to figure out what I'm doing. And that's me. And here I am 10 years later.
Yep.
Woo.
Oh,
you're a very good storyteller.
Yeah. Pardon this book addict.
Both of you are very good storytellers, I would imagine.
Thankfully. Otherwise, I might be in the wrong profession.
Right.
You both have acting backgrounds then? Coming into...
Yes. I went to school for musical theater. I have a music degree in musical theater. And I graduated from college and immediately worked kind of in regional theater around the country. And then I moved to New York. I got my equity card by working every single week of my EMC and got my card and
Explain
was
what that is to the folks because they don't know in Ohio,
so do
or
they
they might.
does the EMC program even exist anymore? I
It
feel like
does. It does. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think that's regional theaters, and if there are like 5 left, it probably does.
So the
Yeah.
EMC
Dying.
program is Equity Membership Candidate Program, and every week that you work in an equity theater, you get towards a membership. So I worked whatever it was at that point, 50 weeks or whatever. And I worked
Mhm.
every
A
single
lot.
one of them in regional theaters, and I got my card. And yeah, and like I said, I was bartending and then getting up every morning and going to equity calls and yeah. So
I started in musical theater too. I don't know that I knew that
oh,
about
yes.
you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You guys are the
Maxine
same
and
person.
Jason would be good. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
started.
we recorded a duet. We recorded a duet audiobook together. Oh shoot. It was like Hooked on the was it Hooked on the
Uh-oh.
Boxer? Is
Uh-oh.
that right? I think that's right. Hooked on the Boxer. And all we would do was sing to each other in the breaks, like when we would be hitting pause.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, he's sweet.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was in my first play at the age of 4. It was a community
Yes.
theater production of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I was
Mhm.
by far the youngest one. I have no idea what kind of parent I had, I'll be honest with you. She let me stay out till like 10 at night doing rehearsals. I was 4.
Yeah.
And I loved it because they got McDonald's, which I thought was like the end all be all.
Yeah.
But where was the parental supervision? I was hanging out with like high schoolers. I don't know. Anyway, I loved it. They gave me a line because I was clearly the cutest in the entire show. And they made the Oompa Loompa hat out of pom-poms. And so they like somehow like they like sewed in like the top of a pantyhose, and that's what you clipped. And so your hair was the pom-pom. I feel like I have a picture of it somewhere. Anyway, they gave me a line, scrumdiddlyumptious, what's it mean? Everybody knows that line. But
Okay.
I was very clear with my vision on how to say it. I had to say it like this. I remember this. Scrumdiddlyumptious, what's it mean? I have a distinct memory of the director, saying, I really love what you're doing, but do you think you could just say it like, scrumdiddlyumptious, what's it mean?
No.
No.
Why would I do it that way?
You have a
Do it that way.
Uh,
Your way does not work. Anyway, it's my mother's fault. She put me into all sorts of programs, and I was doing musical theater in high school and leads in plays and things like that. But I did not go to school for musical theater. I decided I wanted to be more serious. So I did stage acting.
Excuse me?
To me, musical theater felt, this is what's crazy. It is my heart and soul. I love musical theater, sometimes more than I like seeing straight plays. And yet at the time, I don't know what was wrong with me. It felt somehow like you had to, like, I don't know, there was like a snobbery about it that
Yeah.
you were working on.
There
And
still
I have
is.
since shed any of that belief
is.
system.
Yeah, there
But
still
I
is.
believed it at the time. It's
Yeah.
terrible. And it's thumbs down. I am so into the musical theater track, and I probably would have loved it a lot more had I done it.
And not only is there a snobbery to the musical theater, there's a snobbery in the inverse as well. Like if you go to school for musical theater, that like casting directors do not consider you a serious actor. And I remember being in New York and going in and auditioning for Shakespeare festivals, which
Yeah.
was one of the first. Those were my jobs when I graduated from college. I worked at like 3 different Shakespeare festivals. And I remember going in New York once I got there, and I would do a Shakespeare monologue for a casting director, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's cute. Where did you learn how to do that?" And I was like, "Oh,
On that stage?
did you
Being
look at
cast?
my resume?"
Yep.
Did you not hear
Yep,
the words
yep,
coming
yep.
out of my
Partly
mouth? I
But, you
understood
know.
what I said. Yeah.
But, you know.
No, I think I was misled. And I missed out because I love. Oh, I just recently heard you sing on an audiobook, Maxine. You have a gorgeous
I was
voice.
gonna say,
Was that the one with?
Yes, come on,
Is that the
sing.
one she was just talking about? Can you
I
remember
don't.
the
which one is
title?
it?
Leafing
Yeah.
Books T. Jen.
Yeah, which one was it?
Have there
Do you
been
not
multiple?
remember singing?
I don't know. No, I don't.
It's a blur.
I was like, I
Well,
need
'cause
this.
Normally we're told not to sing, especially if it's
I
you
know.
know, but I mean,
Per
yeah,
cost.
right.
You got to pay the rights.
Oh,
The
that'll.
only way you can get around it is if it's like an original. But even
I was gonna say,
then,
yeah.
it's sometimes tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
probably
doesn't
sing.
Lauren Rowe have singing in hers?
I
But I
don't
think she
know.
does.
So then
her.
they must be original or something like that.
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
unless she's got. It is the romance genre of theater.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wow.
You get the meet cute and then immediately break into song because the emotion is
God.
too high for it to only be
Yeah.
words.
Of
And
course.
my whole life is singing, so I get it.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in it.
Okay. So Lauren Rose is original music, so that's why she can have that.
Okay.
But I did hear someone shared Jason's audiobook where he sings today, and I had no idea.
I didn't know that he sang. I was like,
Oh, he's got
okay, versatility.
he's got such a
Yeah.
lovely voice.
And it was so good.
Yeah.
He did not sing. I had him on a couple weeks ago. He did not sing for us. I feel.
Oh,
A kid.
Okay, I don't know.
Get him back right now.
When I did what is it? My like only other interview I've ever done, the Joe Arden's Not a Real podcast. He and I did a kid voice off where we
Who won?
I
Was there
did.
blood spilled?
I did.
Of course you did.
Yeah. We improv'd a scene on the playground and
Oh.
I did like 8 or 9 different characters.
Oh
oh
my.
my god.
There was no camera on me either, so you know.
Make crazy faces.
Yeah, exactly.
Proof that you won. So
Yeah. It's
by a
not
lot.
By a lot.
Thanks, guys.
We
Thanks.
won't tell Joe. It's fine. Left him in the dust. You have lots of fans
Oh
here.
my
They all
goodness.
want- or listen to it, I guess.
Wow.
So,
Do you want to give us a sample?
Sure.
What's the age range? Were they young? Like 5? 6?
Yeah, they were like
Yeah.
5 and 6-year-olds. It was a lot of like,
I don't really want to play kickball today. Who wants to go find worms in the grass?
Oh my god, it's giving Bart Simpson.
That was
oh
awesome.
my god. Yes.
Do I have to answer that? You smell. I'm going to tell my mommy that you ate flowers when you were sitting in the... And you didn't go in the swing.
But you just said that I smell and my mom said that that's not nice.
I didn't say that you smell. He said that you smell. I just said that you ate flowers in the garden.
But you repeated it. I'm sad.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'll
Do
be
you want to
nice.
find worms now?
And you know what? My older sister said that if we sit down and you look and there are 4-leaf clovers, then you get good luck. And I see a patch right here. Do you want to sit down and look?
I want good luck.
Yeah, me too. And then you can take it, and if you snip the bottom real carefully, you can put it in between 2 really, really heavy books. And my mom said they used to be called encyclopedias. And then you can squish them, and then they flatten, and then you can laminate them.
Hey guys, we're just over here playing a game, but you're kind of in our way. So could you move, please?
I don't think so.
that was so good. Oh my gosh.
Maxine
so good.
totally won. I didn't know what I was doing.
no, I liked your very sweet, introspective. I want to look for 4-leaf clovers. I was
I
into
know.
it. Yeah.
Hey, where
Come
did all
on,
that come
Mom.
from? That was really good on the fly.
I mean, oh,
I haven't
know.
heard
That's a
it,
good
so.
question.
I think this is funny too. Your
That's
expressions
what
you
I
do.
said. It wasn't on camera now because I
That's
gotta
the
make
whole
the
point.
faces when I'm doing the voices.
I mean, that's hysterical. So I've done quite a bit of like other voiceover work, and 100,000% you have to get rid of like the vanity of what you look like, because it's all in the behavior of how you move your body, how you move your face, and that's what makes a huge difference. I did like Pokemon for like 4 years or something. Did you ever do that when you were in New York?
I didn't.
No.
God,
No.
no.
I did a bunch of like radio commercials, and I did some oh geez, I did a lot of like marketing firm stuff, like scrap
Oh yeah, like
reports.
business to business, industrials, things like that.
Yeah. And then when
Pokemon
I
is
lived
all
in
like little kid voice. Yeah, go
when
ahead.
I lived in LA, I did stuff for Vice, the news
Oh
channel.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah, they'd like your voice. Deep, textured, sexy. That's good.
they didn't know about my kid voices.
Totally wrong place. They weren't into that. Yeah. They still do. I just did a I was on Sun and Moon, which was like a 3-arc series, and then I did 2 movies, and I did I don't even know how many like background character kind of things, and they brought my character Wick back for like a surprise reunion as Sun and Moon was wrapping up, and that was super fun. And she was way up here.
Yes.
She's very
Just
eager.
have so much fun with all the different voices. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, it's what we do.
Good job. So yeah, everything. You guys do everything. I did want to chat about some of our favorite books that you have narrated. Who wants to chat first? I have both lists ready.
Whatever you want to start.
I'm going to
with.
say Maxine.
Maxine. We'll start. So you are Bristol in the Grip trilogy by Kennedy Ryan, which is absolutely phenomenal. Love that series so much.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Series. Okay. Do you remember narrating?
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. With Jacoby Diem. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you cry?
Yeah. I heard him.
So much. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, Kennedy Ryan.
Ooh. I know. Oh, and she just got a series, right? Her Before I Let Go is being turned into a series. I'm so happy for her.
It is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Wow.
She's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really exciting because John Legend, I think, is working on it too, which is.
He is.
Yeah. There's a lot of really exciting people involved.
Yeah.
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 How did
we
you
already
get
talked
cast
about...
in that? Was that something I want to hear?
How did I get cast?
Yeah.
In the Grip trilogy? Oh Lord, I don't even remember which production company I did that for at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just got cast in it,
Yeah.
They wrote me an email and said,
I mean,
we'd like to cast you in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You guys get a lot of emails though from a lot of people.
A lot of
narrate.
Oh yeah,
I
mean, a lot. I don't know. But yeah, we get at this point. Yeah, it's at least for me. I don't know what it's like for you, Carly. I think it's probably the same. We just get the email, and it's like either the author has requested to work with you, or can we submit your name to the author, and then you either get it or you don't. But
or
it's
audition.
all very it's all very civilized at this point, at least from my perspective.
My experience is very uncivilized.
No.
I'm demanding. I am rabid. Yeah. I don't know what's a lot. I mean, right, we only know our own experience. But I would say I mean, Maxine and I both have been working for a really long time. I think that we're mid-career.
Yeah.
Fairly well established. People often know who we are. And so I think it's a mix of like a direct request or an audition. Even so, sometimes even if they want you, they want to hear how you would sound on that title. And I think, I mean, yeah, when the emails stop coming, you get nervous, but they come frequently.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Every time they do, I'm always like, oh, a new book.
Yeah.
Hiring me.
Yeah.
Does that ever go away?
You ever
Hard
have
say.
to like say no to projects?
I mean, if we're overbooked, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Like recently I had a production company reach out and they had to have it in by a certain date. And I was like, I'm really sorry, but my May is completely overbooked. I need, if the author is willing to push the record to June, I would love to do it. But that doesn't always work out because if an author is looking to do a simultaneous release, then the audio has to be done by a certain point. But yeah, that's usually the only reason, if I will say no to something is if my schedule's already way too full and I don't ever want to do a bad job. So I want to make sure I have the time to prepare and give my everything to each book that I do. So yeah.
Very true. Is that the same for you, Carly?
Yeah, totally the same. I mean, unless I'm on vacation. And there have been times where I'm like, can I find a recording studio? Because that's happened with some voiceover jobs, which are usually super in and out, like you're a 2-hour session and those I'm like, I'll go anywhere. And that has happened a handful of times when I'm on vacation that I've had to find a studio. But audiobooks are a lot longer and a lot more involved. But I have thought about it. I'm like, oh, can I make it work? Because I hate to say no to work. I
Yeah.
usually it has happened where it's like an author I adore and would do anything that they ask me to do. But if I am so maxed out, I absolutely ask if there's any flexibility with the due date. Sometimes if I have a weekend open and I'm, ask my husband, is it okay if I work the whole weekend to squeeze a book in? Because I really want to do it. I'll do it. And then it's crazy to work that much, but I love my job. And so I will, but usually it's for those kinds of conflicts. It's very rare that I've turned down a book because of the content. It's happened a couple of times, but not often.
I saw somebody's comment that asked, do you ever have to audition? And the answer is yes.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I think I did 2 today.
Yeah. I audition a lot under my real name because nobody really cares about my real name. I mean, I've narrated a lot under my real name as well, but everybody really cares
Wait,
more about
Maxine's
Maxine.
not your real name? Who is this?
My real name is Julie McKay. Everyone knows that. It's on like my Twitter handle and all of it. So, but yeah, I have to audition more under my real name than I do under Maxine. But I still have to audition under Maxine,
What do you use your real name for? Would that be for like traditionally published books? I'm just curious.
Honestly, it was kind of like the same thing that what Carly was talking about. When I first started, it was somebody told me that I had to have a pseudonym because if you were doing which I was doing children's books for Scholastic when I first started too. And people were like, oh, well, you don't want somebody who's searching for that to see a romance book. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess. So that was why I have a pseudonym. And then people started recognizing the name Maxine Mitchell and they would ask me to record under that name. And that was really it. Like I would get emails from production companies and they're like, we're interested in Maxine Mitchell for this title. And I was like, okay.
No difference to you.
Yeah.
Did you guys expect when you started for the audiobook industry to just be so booming, especially in like the indie romance industry, and for your names to get so popular? Because I mean, I would consider you two pretty popular names as narrators.
No.
No. No.
I could never in my wildest dreams have thought of this as a career that I could not only make my living, but absolutely love every single day that I am fortunate enough to work. And I would also say they've started inviting narrators now to book events, and Maxine
Mhm.
and I like to go together.
We do.
And it is the best experience ever. I didn't know what it was like to meet fans and to see sort of that side of the business and meet authors that I have narrated multiple titles for and never met in person. What it could possibly be like to see this entire industry in like tangible and make these connections stronger. I just didn't know what it could be like. And it like, it's so female. It just makes my heart explode just
Mhm.
thinking about it. We're going to Book Bonanza together, and we talk about it like once a week in the
Yeah.
floor about, I mean, and we were just at Readers Take Denver.
Uh-huh.
But just like we just have a blast and love it every single moment. Love every single moment of it. I could never have predicted
Yeah.
in a million years.
Mhm.
And I don't know about, I assume this is the same with you, Carly, but like I grew up going to my mom would take us to the library once a week, and she would my mother taught me how to read when I was 3 years old, and since I learned how to read, she would take me to the library and say, "Pick out whatever books you want." And that was it. It was not like "Here's the kids section, pick out some kids
Right.
books." It was just, "Go explore, pick out whatever books you want." And, that made a huge impression on me, and I was a huge, huge reader as a kid, and I have always really, really, really adored reading. And this is, like, the best job in the world for any of that, you know? It's like I get to literally every single day I'm reading, and I'm reading, multiple books a week, which is what I was doing before I was narrating, but now I'm doing it and other people are hearing it, and it's nice. And yeah, meeting people at conventions is so awesome. Um both authors and fans. When we were in Denver, do you remember Kim Holden? The author Kim Holden came up to the table, and like she wasn't there as a signing author,
I was gonna
but
say, I
She
yeah,
lived
was
in
there. Okay.
Denver. Yeah.
she lived
And
in
you had
Denver.
she was such a fave of yours, and you were like, please write more books, please write more books.
Yeah.
And she, sort of told us where her life was at the moment. Right.
But it was so, yeah. I love meeting authors that we work with, and I love meeting fans. Because the job is amazing, but it can also be really isolating. And sometimes you don't realize, uh, you know, how many people are on the other side of the microphone.
Mhm.
So yeah. Yeah.
And what I love is finding out about
That was
all
a
of this.
ramble, but
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Oh, my screen keeps going off because I'm not paying attention. A lot of the books and listening readers, including. Yes, I think so. I think they're starting to recognize that, the phrase one click, like that narrator's a one click for me, are there on my, there are
Yeah.
things that just didn't exist before. Our names
Yes.
aren't even always on the imagery
Which
for
is
the book
annoying.
title. So
yep.
it's to us as well. And I think that, only recently, right, there was, well, maybe you don't know this, but previously through publishers and even some production houses, there was a big no to be in touch with the author. Things had to go through the production house, and they didn't want to have
Mm.
anything to do with anything. And I think those, particularly because of social media, a lot of those sort of old ways of doing things have sort of fallen by the wayside, and authors maybe felt like they didn't want to have anything to do with the audio, or they sort of didn't understand it, and maybe they sold the rights so they didn't really care. But I don't think that
Mhm.
maybe it was part of their business plan. They were like, I write, that's what I do. And I'm not sure, right, so the business has changed so much that that's just another arm of the empires that they're building. And so to pretend that you don't understand audio just isn't really part of that anymore. I mean, I suppose you could, but you're missing out. And I think getting to know the voice or the person that you want to bring your stories to life, and then maybe keep them on book after book, your relationship only deepens. And so I think that's only something that's recent, and that just sort of happened organically.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and I think that one author you do that with is Carrie.
Ah,
How do you say her last name? I always say Lise,
I
but the audio
it says
says
I
Lise.
think it's Lisi, but you know what? She's going to be at Book
Okay.
Bonanza. I'm going to ask her. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure from the first one that I did, we asked.
Yes.
God, I hope we didn't get that wrong, which happens a lot. We do our damnedest, and yet we still mispronounce things, and people tell us, and I'm really
Do
sorry.
they?
Oh yeah, they'll let you
One thing
know.
that I'll tell you, like, what's
I get
interesting.
I get the private messages where they're like, "You
Oh, no.
mispronounced this word," and I'm like, "I'm really,
Aphrodisiac, you
I'm
mispronounced
really
it.
sorry."
I'm sorry, I say aphrodisiac, but I don't anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
I got that flagged. I think the thing is that what so many things are going through my head. First of all, audiobooks, right, are spoken and they're performed. That's an entirely different medium than what the book was originally intended for. It was intended to be read.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Mhm.
thought. It's not all dialogue. And I think that as audio has grown as the medium, it's like saying that you could take a television show from radio and just put it up on TV and it would be fine, which they did in the beginning, but now we have shows like, you know, The Sopranos, or I'm watching Succession. That couldn't have been a radio show. Right? And so I think, right, it takes a while for the medium to find its footing. And I think a lot of authors will write recognizing, oh, this is going to go into audio. I'm going to make my text exchanges a little bit different, or I'm going to make my dialogue a little bit different, or I'm going to cut down on these kinds of things, or I'm going to make it sound more natural. Because what I find is how we read isn't necessarily how we speak. And so many of the things that just in our normal dialogue, people are mispronouncing left and right, or you just never said them out loud before, because they are words that aren't part of our just everyday vernacular. And it bites me in the ass every single day. And I tend to make the same mistake. Frequently. And I have to look it up and sit here in my booth and I go, and I do a lot of curse words. And I say, why am I looking this up again? I should remember. And sometimes I listen to it and I go to record it and I've forgotten how it's pronounced. That happens a lot. And then I have to say it over and over and over for like 30 seconds, just the word. And then I go back and I'm like, fingers crossed I say it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Epitome.
One of them. Yeah.
I could say that's not a one for me, but I'm sorry if
Okay.
it is for you.
What words struck you?
I love asking. It's just what's hard to say.
Oh, texts.
Oh, yeah.
Texts.
Anything with multiple
Do it again.
Yeah.
Do it
Texts. Texts.
Even in real life, I sometimes stumble over it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what was a word today that I kept having to listen to over and over? Maybe I should look it up.
So I've said this before. I went to school
yeah.
for music, and I still, like to this day, I have to really think about pronouncing recitative.
Don't get it wrong.
Recitative.
Yes.
I can't. But like, I have to really think about it. Otherwise, it just trips me up every single time.
That's why I just say recit.
Exactly. Let's just cut it off there.
I'm just gonna say that word differently. That's okay with everyone?
Yeah.
I was doing a YA book that I finished today, and it was so beautiful. I cried at the end. Oh my God. But foal. I swear to God, the more times you look at that word, like FOAL for a baby.
Foal.
Okay,
Yeah.
everybody,
Okay.
I was just making sure we're on the same page. But I swear, every time you see it, you're like, is that what it says? And like you look at the word long enough, and it came up a lot in this book, and I was like, no, it's full, isn't it? And then I would have to go and listen, and then I would go back. So it's just words. It's just like with everything. I don't know that texts are hard. Sometimes when it's like multiple things that your mouth has to do at the same time, and that just means we have to be better at our jobs. And there's no word that I dislike. It's just words sometimes look funny. Like when you write something and you're like, is that the way I spell it? It just happens to me all the time.
Yes, all the time. Paula's bookshelf. Yes, I think you say words enough times that it just doesn't sound right anymore.
Words. Is that words? Is words?
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I also love this comment.
Oh, thank you.
Because Carly, you also did
Oh yeah, wait.
recently.
Oh yeah, wait. We didn't even finish talking about Chloe Lacey and the Bergman brothers. Oh my God.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We'll
We
do
just
that
did
first.
Ziggy's book. I was thrilled to do the series that I auditioned for. And what's funny is I auditioned under my name, Carly Robbins. And then I think they decided they wanted it under CJ Bloom. And I was like, you guys decide. And then she wrote to me and we were talking about things. And I had just done The Kiss Quotient. And that was also neurodivergent, which is probably maybe why they included me in the audition pool for this series. And she was like, oh my God, that was you? She didn't even know. She didn't know. And she listened to my audition. So that's always fun. And we have since become, I think, like social media friendly, if that's a thing. And she is an absolute doll. And I tell her all the time, just keep writing. And if you hire me, I will do it. Because her writing is just exceptional. Okay, and then you were about to do Elsie, who we met, Maxine.
Yeah.
Who is, oh my God, talk about a doll.
She's so lovely. Yeah.
Such a sweetheart. And that was also just a surprise. It was the third one in the series. Nobody cares about number 3.
I think a lot of people care about this series.
Yes, they do.
They do. It's a surprise. You never know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like,
No.
we want you for the first one. Oh, by the way, you're going to be in the 5th one. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Anyway,
Well, 'cause-
she was a doll. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I don't know what I was going to say. You say.
Okay.
You.
No, well, because I was going to say, Maxine, I don't know if you can say what it is, but I know you're doing something for Catherine in her new series, which you didn't remember the title when we talked in Denver. It's like book 4 or something. So,
Yeah.
Yes. You do a lot for her, which is great.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't, because I don't know if
can't
it's
give
like,
anything.
I don't know if it's out yet, which book I'm doing.
She has 3 left, right? 3, 4, and 5 that haven't been. And I don't remember which one it was, but yes. So one of them. Do you ever get messages from authors that you're like, oh my gosh, absolutely yes, drop everything. I'm for sure narrating for you.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah. Like Melanie,
usually reach
Melanie
out directly.
Moreland is one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Melanie Moreland does. She reaches out to me, but yeah, she's one that all the time she'll reach out. Actually, which one was it? It was the BAM series, and she was Sandy. It was Sandy, because Sandy was like, she was the middle-aged like secretary or office manager for the BAM guys. And she was like, you've done all these younger characters. I don't know, like, would you be comfortable doing Sandy? I was like, yeah, sure. But she's
I'm an
awesome.
actor.
Yeah. But she's awesome. I love Melanie. And anytime she asks me, I'm like, yes, absolutely, of course. Yeah. And then Kate too, usually Kate Stewart. And I'm trying to think of other authors that like will actually reach out and ask. But do you have some, Carly? That
I mean, I don't. So like Elsie made a weird comment when we were in Seattle, and like literally like the next day, I was like, oh, that's what she meant. I'm doing her first series that I don't think she put into audio. Yes.
Cool.
But I like got contacted by the production company, and they were like, she wants you for the whole thing, but she said it. And I don't think, and I'm sure my reaction was not fitting what she thought it was going to be, because I had no clue what she was doing. And I think I was probably like, yeah, sure, sounds great. And so that's always lovely. And then I have some authors. So I have Samantha Chase, and I started doing her books like, I don't know, like 8 or 9, like literally. I think I got one of her books, for those of you who don't know, ACX, which is the Audio Creation Exchange, and it was developed from Audible to be like sort of a democratic experience where rights holders could meet narrators and production people, and you could just produce on your own. You didn't have to go through a studio or things like that. And so many of us started there. I started there just, auditioning. And some of those authors I still work with today. I don't really do it anymore. It seems exhausting. But I don't see any reason why I couldn't. I have no idea what the landscape looks like. But one of them, I think I got a Samantha Chase either from there or from somebody else, because it all kind of muddled together. I think it might have been her. She was co-writing with Noelle Adams. And I think they hired me from there. And then she brought me over to Brilliance. And now she works with Dreamscape. These are all production houses. And I've met her in person and she's like, you will only be my voice. They tried to get me somebody else. And I said, no. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. And
Exclusive.
I mean, I probably do like a
Oh,
book a month
Devney
of hers.
Perry. Yeah, Devney Perry.
I know, Maxine, you've done a lot for her. I don't know
I
if
have,
Yeah.
yeah.
Elise- okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Anyway,
Catherine
so I get those-
Nolan. Catherine Nolan's
Yeah.
another one. Anytime, I'm like, yes, absolutely. I love Catherine Nolan's
Rebecca
books. Do you
Yarros
guys
for
know
me
her
is one of those.
books?
Yeah.
I don't know her books.
Catherine's she's a wonderful writer. She's really, really good. I just what's the last one I did for her? Rival Radio. It's real good. It's real good. It's two romance sex therapists on a they have like dueling radio shows and then they're forced to work together on the same show and it's
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say someone brought up things we left unfinished.
Yeah,
I
Rebecca
think,
Yarros. That's
not
one.
anymore. Yeah.
I love her.
And we have
I heard her so hard.
Who do you love narrating with?
Teddy Hamilton, Jason
I love him.
Clark.
I mean, all the big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Carly.
I mean,
Carly.
Carly.
Who do you like working with?
That's a great question. I mean, I have been fortunate to work with the more popular male narrators. They're all very kind and great to work with. And I know what their voices sound like, which is always great because then you can kind of like sit a little different in your chair. What's your Teddy voice?
Chapter 1.
Why was that good though?
Oh my god. You literally just said 2 words and we were dying.
That was great.
So whenever I'm going to be co-narrating with someone, I like obsessively listen to their clips because I want to be sure. Not because I don't ever want to do an impression, but I want to know the way that they speak.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love Teddy and but that's
That was spot on though. That was so funny.
That
Well, do you
was
try
good.
to like make the male character sound like the male narrator's voice, like in your POV in your chapters?
Again, like I like to know how they speak. I don't necessarily try to do an impersonation of them, but I do like to know kind of the timbre of their voice, the kind of like the pace that they speak with. The intonation. I like to know those things and let it inform what I'm doing with the male character.
Same. Like Teddy is way laid back for me.
Yeah.
Jason Clark is a little more intense.
Yeah.
Sebastian's just like deep pelvis
Yeah.
kind of thing. Totally.
Do you narrate standing up when you're narrating with Sebastian York?
I don't.
Just so you can push that pelvis forward, Carly.
Maybe I should try it. Maybe that's what's been wrong. No, because I would move too much and I'd probably hit things. So I try to I don't stand. I sit. And I sit very still.
Well, you can't make any noises, right? Because the mic would pick that up.
Oh
Totally.
yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah.
I'm a big gesticulator, but I do it, and then
Cautiously?
sometimes I do hit things and I'm like, oh god damn it, I have to stop and go back. But
I mean, to get a little businessy, but we're only as good as the hours of the day, because if it takes you so long to finish a book, then you're only doing one book and it was like an exhausting marathon of an experience, and we only get paid for the final runtime of the story. So the faster and more efficient that we can be in our work, the better, we can get back to our lives and book more and make more money and live more and read more and all that.
So you're just paid a flat rate for this is the project and this is the fee, or?
So you get paid they call it like a per finished hour, PFH. If anybody has ever seen that acronym, it stands for per finished hour. So if it's a 10-hour book, the industry standard is that it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So for every 2 hours you're in the booth, you're going to get an hour of bank time. So if it's a 10-hour book, it's going to take you 20 hours, but you only get paid for the 10 hours of the final count of the book. So you want to be as efficient as you possibly can, because that extra 10 hours is just your own labor. Not counting, of course, like any of the admin work that you do to get the job, or the audition, or any of the prep, or if there's accents and you have to go back and forth, or you have to look up things if it's like a made up language, which sometimes happens. And there's a lot of pronunciations and things like that. So all of that just adds on time. And so the more efficient you can be with your time, the better you are overall. Did you ever see that movie? What was that? Oh my God, I'm going to screw the whole thing. About a boy. And he was like going through his day where he talked about the time, and he was like, and it's 21 minutes and blah, blah, blah. Was that about part of it that anybody retained? Was that what About a Boy? Where his father had the Christmas song?
I don't know.
Oh, crap.
Wait, where his father had the Christmas
Hugh
song?
Grant. Hugh Grant's father had it. There's a couple of movies where there's Christmas songs, so I don't want to confuse things. His dad, maybe it wasn't a Christmas song. His dad had like a hit song, and so he was able to live off the royalties. So he did nothing with his life. And so because he was so bored and had nothing fulfilling with his life until the boy moved in next door, and he fell in love with the boy who bothered him, kind of like a Dennis the Menace kind of thing. And then he, of course, fell in love with the boy's mom. But he would count like the hours and minutes of his day just to get through. I find myself doing the same thing where I'm like, this is going to take me 21 minutes to get through something. And I'm like, that's all. I become sort of like a sycophant that way. Anyway, it's all about the hours.
You did mention accents. Do you have favorite accents to do?
Oh, this is my accent, American. No, I'm just
favorite accents? I mean, I don't know. I like doing accents for like random side characters. That's my favorite thing.
Because they tend to be like really bold choices. I like it when they're written. I like it when they're written that you like, I know that person.
Yeah,
but
I know
it's not,
exactly
like,
who that is.
integral to how the story is written, and it's just a random accent, but the dialogue isn't written that way. And sometimes it doesn't contain the musicality for how it should come out. Sometimes that's challenging to perform. But sometimes those side characters, like a grandma with a shotgun.
Oh yeah,
I like it.
Yes,
that's
come
my
on,
milieu. Yeah.
I don't know who Tobias is. I'm assuming this is for Maxine.
Oh, Tobias? No, I'm not gonna do that right now. It's from the Raven Hood. He's
Machine.
He's the Frenchman.
She is a machine.
He's the
She is a
Frenchman
machine.
in the
Oh,
Raven
come on,
Hood.
French.
I need to listen to those. He is the Frenchman.
Yeah, he's the Frenchman.
Is there any accent you find like impossible for you to do, so you try to avoid it?
Australian is murder for me. I can do a side character, but it takes me forever.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite the accent.
And that's like one sentence. Some people can, it like rolls off their tongue, no problem. That is not me.
Yeah, is there an accent that I can't do? I mean, well, I'm trying to think because, like, again, like Carly said, there are accents that you can do definitely for minor characters that you don't want to have to sustain throughout an entire book or in first person narration, you know? But yeah, I'm trying to think like I don't think I would know like what Croatian sounds like without having to like really do some deep diving on that. But
as opposed to just like a pan Eastern European sort of something.
Yeah. And I don't know. I get very, very like exact and I'm very hard on myself when I'm like learning an accent. I'm like, this has to be spot on, this has to be perfect, or I'm not doing it.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. Something like that maybe.
Makes sense. Any books that have stuck with you after narrating them?
Well, and I have a
Thank you.
similar question that I was going to ask of, are there any audios that you are particularly proud of and why?
Is it my turn? Is it your turn?
Yeah,
Who
go
goes?
ahead. You have
Um,
something? You got
I mean,
something?
there are a handful that have stuck with me for sure that I still think about. I did this one YA book called Coming Up for Air, and it was really a standalone, even though it was part of a series. And I had no expectation going in, but it wound up being sort of like a coming of age story for a young girl who was a champion swimmer, like on her way to being in the Olympics. And it was the research was so well done. Like it felt like this author really knew what she was talking about. And she wound up having this like sexual awakening. She asked her best friend to sort of do it, one of those kinds of tropes where she was like, I don't want to go to college and have this as like a thing. Like I'm the only one that hasn't had sex yet. And I want to know what it's like, but I don't really have time because I'm really focused on swimming, but I kind of just want to do it. And he was like, oh, okay. And it could not have been a more beautiful exposure to what your sexuality and the safety and sort of like coming into your own sexuality could have been. It was surprisingly knocked me off my feet. And I remember writing to the producer, in the casting, they sort of run in the same. The producer was the casting person. And I was like, I don't know what you just sent me, but I'm bawling. And he was like, yeah, okay, sounds great. And then he wrote me a note maybe like a week later, and he was like, I don't know what I sent you either, but I'm bawling. And both of us were just completely, it was so beautiful. And it still sticks with me because that's how everybody's sexual awakening should happen. Like it should just be as beautifully written as this was. And so that just like dead.
Who's the author?
Oh, crap. I knew you were going to ask me that since I brought it up.
Yeah, 'cause I'm like, I love YA. I don't read it as much anymore, but I still.
I like it too, and I don't do it as much, although I just did that book with the horse. Miranda Keneally, and
Mhm.
it was part of a larger series, but apparently had like no character crossover or things like that. It was book 8 in the Hundred Oak series. I'm looking it up, so I'm telling you as I'm reading it. But I could not have anticipated that it was as beautiful as it was. And then the only other book that, no, there's a lot, but the only one I'm going to mention here is that I got to be, I think Maxine has heard me say this, so she's probably like, wah, wah. But I got to be in Little Women. It was an Audible Studios production of Little Women, and I got to play Amy March. And
cool.
It was 2 weeks in studio. It was a full cast. It was one of the most beautiful experiences I ever had.
Oh, I bet that story alone, like, yeah, that's so cool.
But I have lots of others. I don't know why Coming Up for Air, maybe because I just did that YA today, but it bounced in my head. I did that one in 2017.
I was
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
All the great. Yeah. What about you, Max?
Well, I guess I'm going to say the one that I just brought up for the March of Maxine that just happened, which was Ghosted by J.M. Darhauer. It's a second chance. There's a kid involved, and it's basically about a kid who idolizes an actor who plays a superhero without knowing that it's actually her father. So it's really lovely and well written, and it's a wonderful story about redemption. And that's one of the best books to listen to. It's a good one. Oh no, maybe that was Coming Up for Air. I don't know.
I can't imagine. I don't think anybody's listened to Coming Up for Air. Do either of you have a favorite or something that comes to your mind that either of us have narrated? I'm putting you on the spot.
This is kind of random, but Carly, for you, I love the Naughty Princess Club series.
Yeah.
Those books are so fun.
Dying.
They're so funny.
Hey, talk about like a conceit where you're like, this is going to get old fast, and yet so beautifully written, so funny, so based in reality. For those of you who don't know it, Tara Civic she is an author that literally if she said to me, I want you to read poop, and I would be like, yeah, please hire me. I'll do anything that you tell me. It's poop. I'll do poop. I have problems narrating for her because I laugh a lot.
So funny.
A lot. And I have been fortunate to narrate quite a bit for her. So the Naughty Princess Club was basically like also women coming into their sexuality, like after sort of like a second adolescence, after sort of not having a first good run of it as adults, and they sort of decide to change their life around. So they decide to do like stripping, but for, you know, like male parties, but as princesses, like
Brilliant.
Beauty and the Beast, Belle, things like that. And right, you can think like, does that conceive really work? And how dirty is this book going to get? And like, am I really prepared for this? And it's as hysterical as you could possibly ever imagine it to be. So there were 3 in that series, and I hearted it so hard.
Yeah, I need to reread
it was so good.
The audios were so great, Carly. Like, you just like perfectly nailed the vibe.
Yeah, I see you. Yeah, I get it. I felt the same way. I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled. Yeah, those books can get a lot of love. I love Tara. Yeah. A name that I was mispronouncing until finally someone caught me and was like, it's Tara, you idiot.
I keep saying
I only made the mistake once.
To be fair, it is spelled Tara, so.
I mean, she pronounces it Tara. Bring it up
Yes.
with her. Yeah, I did one of the Seduction and Snacks. I think that was my first one that I did for her. Or did I do 2? Something Ponies. I did that way, way, way early. And then anyway, so I've done a lot.
And you've done Lucy Score?
Oh, fun.
I have? No, I haven't. Have I? Oh my God, let's look it up. Which one?
By a thread.
Oh, By a Thread?
Or maybe
Let's take a look.
Oh.
No, that was Erin Mallon. I didn't think I had done it. Whoopsies. I'm Carly. Not Erin.
I talked to Erin a couple weeks ago, so.
I love Erin.
Mm-hmm.
I love Erin. I heart Erin.
I would pretend to be Erin.
If I could, I mean, be compared to anybody, I would love to be compared to Erin. Yeah. But I was like, I don't think I've done a Lucy Score. Mm-hmm. Whoopsies.
And going on the opposite of the Tara, for Maxine, I would say the Grip series because I rarely cry ever when I'm reading, and definitely I had tears reading that trilogy. So
yeah,
and Jacoby Deam is
me too. Yeah, I know Jacoby Deam.
Yeah. But we are over an hour now. That went by very, very quickly. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining. I know, Maxine, I kind of bombarded you like in person, so you couldn't really say no, but thank you for joining our interview. It was so
Is that
fun.
how I got here? Maxine's like, I won't do it, but I'll do it with her.
No, Jessica came up and she was like, Carly's gonna do the show and we would love if you would do it too. And then me, I'm so awkward and weird. I just like started to shrink behind the table. Mm-hmm. She's like, no, you can do it with Carly. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
Okay, there you go. Like I said, see previous conversation, come join us at Book Bonanza. We're going to have the best time.
Yes, please do. Yeah.
I will be at Book Bonanza, so I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot.
We like to have a party. Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. All right, everyone saying thank you. This was so fun. I have not laughed this much in a live show in a very long time.
Yes.
Listen,
amazing.
When you're at the end of a day and like everybody, Jason Clark has cried or whatever he did, and like
probably sang. I don't know.
I don't know, or he just like smiled or something. We got to do something different.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Do you both have Facebook groups? I know, Maxine, you do. Carly, do you have a Facebook group?
Yeah. Yes, I do not have a Facebook group, although I have been approached to do a Facebook group. I have not yet done anything about that, but you guys can follow me on Instagram, crobsbk. I try and post some fun stuff. It's a lot of food. Maxine and I have that in common. We do a lot of food talk, obviously book talk. You know how it goes. Just a little bit, just to have you get to know me a little bit better.
And Maxine, Maxine's.
Maxine's
Earbuds?
Earbuds.
Yes.
Yes, Maxine's Earbuds is my Facebook group, and then I'm on Instagram as well. I just joined Instagram a month or two ago as Narrator Maxine, at Narrator Maxine.
Cool.
And she exploded. I do hang out a lot. I get invited a lot.
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
I pop in every once in a while.
Well, because we're friends. That's why.
It's true. We like each other.
Yeah.
Well, check them out.
Yeah.
Instagram and Maxine on Facebook, and Carly's gonna get working on her Facebook. Maybe. Yes.
Woo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
she
right.
is.
Making a post is hard for me. I do my best.
All right. Thank you
This is
so
super
much.
fun. Thank you so
joining
much for spending time
Yeah.
with us, honestly. And these questions and hearing all the pop-ups, and I mean, I love it. I love it so much. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Love, love, love.
Yeah. All right. We will see everybody later. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.